We are all familiar with the poster that says we can do it with a woman in the middle flexing her arm, symbolizing the power and equality that women have fought for in the past. However, some still may ask, do women truly have equal rights? While some people say yes, I do not think they factor in the fact that there are still gender wage gaps in the workforce. Gender wage gaps have been around for quite some time and are still affecting women, not only in monetary situations, but also in situations such as mental health, which is why I'm going to be talking about why we should narrow gender wage gaps. Today, I would like to go over some of the effects of the gaps, the causes, and a possible solution. With that said, I would like to get into some of the effects of these gender wage gaps. First and foremost, according to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, most women have less income to maintain their living standards in retirement than they did when they were working. And they reported annual contribution to retirement acts that were approximately 30% less than men's contribution. Next, from an article published to CNBC by Corey Stegg, she states that in a 2016 study, they found that when women are getting paid equal or at least more than their male counterpart, they are equally as likely to experience depression and anxiety. However, when women are getting paid less than men, they are 2.4 times more likely to experience depression and about 4 times more likely to experience anxiety. So we can see that not only does this affect women in retirement in the long run, but it also affects them mentally because they are being seen as just less efficient than men. Lastly, according to the National Partnership, the U.S. has lost approximately $956 billion due to these gaps. However, if we were to narrow this gap, we could use this money for other important services. These services could include lower level schools, tuition, and even healthcare and childcare. Next, I'd like to dive into some of the causes of these wage gaps. According to an article published to Forbes in 2021 by Tom Spiegel, there are false perceptions against women that women are less competent or less qualified as men. Spiegel uses an example to illustrate this. He says that, for example, if a boss sees women as less competent or less qualified as men, then that boss will offer a lower wage. Furthermore, Amanda Barroso and Anna Brown from PEW Research state that women are overrepresented in lower paying jobs. So this basically means that even though there are a lot of women still taking their chances of getting those higher positions and doing a lot for the workforce, but they're simply just not getting all of the credit they deserve for it. Elise Gold and Celine McNicholas from Economic Policy Institute state in a 2017 article that women also lack sufficient info about their pay and the wage. This means that women don't know how to compare themselves to their own peers, so they don't really know who's being paid more or who's being paid less. Overall, women in the workforce are just not appreciated enough, and because of this, they are getting paid less, even though they're doing just about the same work as men. With that said, I'd like to go into a possible solution for this wage gap problem. This solution requires the unionization of the workforces. This happens through the National Labor Relations Board. The first step of this would be that 30% of the workers must sign a petition if they want to form a union. Then the NLRB will conduct an election. After that, then the union could potentially become certified. Then the employer negotiates the terms and conditions with the union representative. So right off the bat, we can see already that the workers will definitely have more equality, because not only does the employer get the say in their terms and conditions, but the employers also kind of can make up their own and make it more equal to everyone that's working. Furthermore, according to Gold and McNicholas from the Economic Policy Institute, state that pay transparency gives all the information to all of the workers, so they have everything they need to really know who's getting paid for what. And this will really solve the fact that women lack the information when it comes to the wages, since typically they don't have all of the information, but unionizing will standardize the pay transparency. Next, David Madlin from American Progress Action states that countries with greater collective bargaining have become more equal in terms of who's working, and they standardize, according to Gold and McNicholas, collective bargaining standardizes wage rates, they promote pay transparency, and they include grievance procedures for workers who have been discriminated against. So overall, unionizing workforces will create a lot of equality amongst men and women, and I think this will give women a lot more chances to become more successful and live a more solid life. With that said, I would like to go over what I talked about today. Today, I talked about some of the effects of the wage gaps. I also talked about the causes of the wage gaps and a possible solution, which is unionizing the workforces. Women and pretty much a lot of people have fought for equal rights amongst genders, and I think it is only justifiable that we also fight for the monetary equality.